Talk loud. Yeah. We don't mind. Those Groupon certificates work pretty well. Thank you all for coming. It's a beautiful day, and it's a beautiful setting. And I think we can all agree that it's only eclipsed by how beautiful Tatiana looks today. You don't look too bad yourself. Okay, where on earth did all of you come from? I was talking to Miles, and as you know, he asked me to make a few remarks before officiating here today. And I understand that some of you have come from faraway places. Some from across town, you're lucky. The traffic was horrible coming from the north. Some from across the country, and thank you. And some from different continents. I understand we have people here from Belize, from Mexico, from Russia, and from France. So thank you all for coming. The fact that you would all travel so far speaks volumes about your love for Miles and Tatiana on their wedding day. A while back, Miles and Tatiana asked me to officiate at their wedding, which was a great honor. They also asked me to speak a little bit at their wedding, which gave me some nervousness, and then I thought about it, and it would be a lot of fun. But the nice thing they said when I worried about what I would say is that there's no off limits, carte blanche, and I could say whatever I wanted. So we're not going to do this the regular way. I'm just going to have you stand up and ask questions of the bride and groom. Not. So anyhow, as a matter of background, most of you who've met me know me from being Miles' best friend for the last 40 years. We met in law school, the first week of law school, and we became fast friends, and we've stayed in touch for over 4 decades. In knowing Miles for all these years, the traits that characterize Miles are his honesty, his ability to get right down to the heart of an issue, and his commitment as a loyal friend. And down very, very deep, for those of you who don't know, he truly has a heart of gold. If Miles says he's your friend, don't ever take the statement lightly, because he will bend over backwards to help you and anybody else who's a friend. And the fact that you're all here means that you're friends with Miles. It's a great statement. As for Tatiana, I haven't known her 40 years. I've known her about 40 months. But what I do know about Tatiana makes me very envious. She's so very close to her family in a way that is truly beautiful. And her family is just as close to her. She's caring, she's sensitive, and I suspect she's fairly open-minded, because you have to be fairly flexible to be with Miles. But don't think for a minute that she isn't a president in her own right. She grew up during tough times in a difficult place, and she came here with her family to start a life. And she's done very well for herself, and she is the yin to Miles' yang. Some might ask the question, how did these two individuals from vastly different backgrounds, from thousands and thousands of miles across the globe away, find each other? Well, honestly, I don't even know. But
I get to tell that story.
I think you should. But believe it, it was a fortunate act of serendipity. In my own ego, I think it was a cosmic grand slam home run. I can tell you once they met, they would never look back. And I can recall when Miles and I were visiting New York in October of 2013 that Miles was looking for a gift to get Tatiana. Now at this point in their relationship, they'd only known each other maybe 5 or 6 weeks. But Miles was on a mission. We went in store after store. And he said, is this appropriate? Do you think this would be okay? And I said, you know, Miles, it's really tough to pick out a gift for someone you've known such a short time. And Miles, for any of you who know Miles, you'll know that he's acutely analytical, deliberate beyond belief, and not one to rush into things at first. So I was a little bit surprised when he turned to me and said, look, if I'm with Tatiana at the end of the year, I will be with her for the rest of my life. After I picked myself up off the floor, Miles recalls that I said that, quote unquote, I've known you 40 years and that's the stupidest thing you ever said. My recollection is a wee bit different. It had the word crazy in it, and it had some words that are truly inappropriate for this lovely day. As you all know, the rest is history. So by way of observation, the longer Miles and Tatiana have been together, the closer they've become. Sometimes it's really difficult and hard to see where one ends and the other begins. They have become absolutely inseparable. When Tatiana enters the room, the first thing she does is look for Miles. Look where he may be. As soon as she sees him, her face breaks into a warm smile. For Miles, as soon as he sees Tatiana, he actually sits up straighter and turns toward her. Once their eyes meet, you can see the tension leave his body. Whenever they're together, they're always holding hands. It's a lesson for all of us. Together, they have a certain presence. Tatiana's sense of caring and commitment, coupled with Miles' unwavering loyalty and his authenticity, are the glue in their relationship. Even though they met a little later in life than some, I have no doubt, as Miles told me a few years ago, that they will spend the rest of their lives together, because I believe that time is just a number and love endures. I've been thinking about how to close my statements and had some trouble finding the appropriate words, so I'm going to rely on something Jackson Browne wrote in one of his songs, and the lyrics go like this. I'm going to find myself a girl who can show me what laughter means, and will fill in the missing colors in each other's paint-by-number dreams. Miles, you found her. Tatiana, don't let him go.
My version was actually the correct version of that conversation. I don't believe in fate. Almost 3 years ago, lonely, sad, I put my profile back on Match. I'm doing this again. Heart wasn't in it. When you're the new kid on the block on Match, you get a lot of emails from women. Only happens the first day when you're new on Match. 20 emails, looked at the pictures, looked at the profiles, my heart wasn't in it. I I just started deleting. I was just coming out of a long relationship and I needed time. Delete, 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 delete. I get to 809 with this redhead with a hat. Adorable. My heart's not in it, but I didn't delete. Next one. Delete, delete, delete. I deleted 19 emails. On Match, if you don't respond, you're rejected. I didn't respond for 2 days. 2 days later, I see this adorable face, the red hair, the heart's not in it, but I send an email and I say, I'm really busy this week, but I'm interested. This is actually all true. An hour later, I get an email back. Today's my last day on Match. Here's my real email address. If you've ever done online dating, don't ever a woman give out her real email address. Match is anonymous. You don't know people's names. You don't know their email addresses. You meet, you develop a relationship, and then you give that information out. I got her real email address an hour later. The rest, of course, is history. Now, 6 months fast forward. March 2014, we come back from New York. We were in New York for a week. 24/7 we're together. Taxi picks us up at the airport in San Diego, going home. It's 10:30 at night. Drops her off at her apartment in Little Italy. Takes me to my house. I'm home. I'm unpacking. And I was so freaking lonely. I couldn't believe that I wasn't spending the night with Tatiana. Couldn't believe it. The next day I asked her to move in with me. True. A few weeks later, when she said yes, we're living together in my old house that I lived in for 32 years. You can imagine the history. And we're just casually talking. It'd be really nice if we could find our own house together. And I knew it probably wasn't going to happen. There weren't that many houses available that met the criteria that we wanted. I call my broker, who had known me for years, and I say, Mike, this is what we want. We go over the list. We want to live in Mission Hills. He says, there's nothing available, but if I find anything, I'll get back to you. And we were totally satisfied. We could live in my old house. But it would have been nice to get a new house. 2 days later, Mike calls. Miles, you're not going to believe it. You know the house across the street from you? Yeah. It's going to go on the market next week. This is a house owned by an older couple. And the man had died a few months before. And I knew he had died, and I knew his widow, and I had no idea she was selling the house. 5 minutes later, I knock on the door. Kathy, can I look around? She says, Miles, the house is a mess. I said, Kathy, you know I'm living with the woman I love. I would love to just look around the house. We're interested in buying a house. She said, sure. I look for 5 minutes. I don't say a word. I say thank you. I come back, and I tell Tatiana what I just found. The next day, she comes with me. Same thing, knock on the door. Kathy, do you mind if we look together? The next day we call our broker. We find out what's the listing price. We made an offer. We got a counter offer the day after that, and we were in escrow the day after that. We never looked at another house. We found our dream house together in 5 minutes. Before Tatiana, every relationship was if only. This would be so good if only she was richer, or poorer, or older, or younger, didn't talk so much, talk too much. There was always an if only. There is no if only. I love you to death. I love you unconditionally, exactly who you are. When I come home at night, no matter how bad the day was, I feel so much warmth and happiness, and you smile, and it makes me feel so good. It doesn't even seem possible. I can't believe I'm in a relationship. I don't want to change a thing. I love you just the way you are. Always. You are the most single best thing that ever happened in my life was meeting you. There's no second. I don't believe in fate. We were meant to meet again. Absolutely, positively. I will be with you forever. You will be with me forever. And I will always love you. Always. Always.
I don't know how to follow this other than to say I do, but that's too early. That's way too early. So yeah, if there is a room for one more story, I'm gonna tell this one story because it's very dear to my heart. And that was about 3 weeks into relationship maybe, when I had to tell Miles about something that he either did or said that I didn't care for. And I don't even remember what it was. It must have been complete nonsense or something. But I said it, and here's what happens next. He drops his face on his chest, and he goes, "I'm trying. I'm really trying. I never tried that hard before." And to me, it was like, wow. You know, to see something that genuinely adorable and adorably genuine, and by hearing him, you already seen that genuine side of him, but this one was the first for me, and I was sold. So, darling, at that moment, you stole the keys from my heart. Please do me a favor, don't ever give it back to me. I don't want it, keep it. It's yours. Keep it. So, ever since I met you, I have been the happiest I've ever been. You make me laugh, you make me smile, you make me feel at home all the time. I can't even imagine my life without you. You make me infinitely happy. And I hope, I know, I make you happy too. Actually, the whole greater San Diego knows because you tell me. So, I love you madly, and I always will. And even though we said, let's not do the standard set of promises, like, you know, for better, for worse, for this, for that. It's like, it's boring and it's not us. I still want to give you 2 promises right now. So, number 1, I will never change. Right, so you have jokingly said that some women try to change men, big mistake, try to change men while men hope women stay the same, right? So here it goes. I will never change. I will stay true to myself, and I will bring sunshine to your life for as long as I live. And another promise, obviously, I would never want to change you. Stay who you are. You are adorable, funny, quirky, genuine, generous, smart, and most importantly, you have a big heart. So I love you, and I can't wait to marry you, which is happening right now. Oh, the rings. And soon.
You getting married to yourself? Okay. Should we do the official part?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, but I'm supposed to say something.
Okay.
Tatiana,
Yes.
you take this caring, committed, and exceptional individual to be your spouse.
I do.
Miles, you take this loving, caring, and beautiful individual to be your spouse. You may put the ring on her finger. Now I have to do the official. By the power vested in me by the County of San Diego, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Tatiana, you You may kiss the groom. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be the first person in history to introduce Miles and Tatiana, husband and wife.